Name's Kelvin Murphy, veteran of the United States Army from the years 1965 through 7. Served with the 1st Battalion, 44th Artillery, Charlie Battery, and that was twin 40 Dusters and quad 50 machine guns. I went in the fall of 1966 to Vietnam. We were an experiment because those were anti-aircraft weapons that were used in World War II and Korea. But in Vietnam, we didn't have aircraft to fight. So somebody came up with the idea of using the twin 40 Dusters and quad 50s with ground troops. And we were the first to go over with them. My battery, Charlie Battery, we ended up with the 3rd Marine Division on the DMZ, and we were like convoy escorts. They were building all the fire bases that the Marines became well known for. And the one, we were 6 or 7 miles east of the fire base called Quezon, and that's where the very long siege was. And within my unit, we had one man. He was an older fella. His name was Arthur Wright. He was from Lansing, Michigan. His wife said in the late 50s, he did a hitch in the Army. He got out, honorably discharged, came back to Lansing, started a family. And she said in 1965, he come home one evening, my company's going out of business. I don't have a job. And I gotta take care of you and the babies, so I'm going back in the Army. I met Art in the desert where we trained in New Mexico under Fort Bliss. And he was an older fella. He was like a big brother to us. You know, he'd been in before. And we did our training. We headed over, and he was in A Battery. I was in Charlie Battery, and he was over by Dong Hall. And as time went on, you kind of lose contact with guys. But going back to Arthur, they were down the road at Dong Hall. He was checking the wire by the reports and walking from one duster to the next. They were on perimeter duty, and he was checking the wire, and he just vanished. And they said they found no breaches in the wire or nothing. They just don't know what happened. Some speculated, and they couldn't find it. They might have had a tunnel on the inside of the wire. In some of those, the hatch light, you couldn't tell it. You'd have to be highly trained. They don't know if they snatched him and went that way or what. And that was February 20th, 1967, and we don't know Art's fate today. Was up for a promotion. I got put on a duster as a temporary squad leader, and waiting for the replacement. They said 48 to 72 hours he'd be there. Then I was going to go back to my original one and take over, and my squad leader was getting promoted, and he was going up to an E6. Well, one night changed everything. It was a rough night at work. I'll just leave it at that. And they just said I wasn't right after that night. And over the years, I found the company commander and asked him, why was I sent out? And he said, we just noticed a change. I'm not bragging, but he said, you were one of our real standouts in the unit, and we had plans for you. And he said, boy, it's changed fast. They sent me to Yokohama, Japan, 106 General Hospital, and I got word the track I was going back to, the original, the guys got ambushed and they were all killed. And I've lived with that for a lot of years. Came home, and I just turned 20 years old when I got discharged. I wasn't old enough to do anything when I come home, and life was rough. It was not a good time to be a veteran, and the way we were treated, I still feel that to this day. Life was rough. I crawled in a bottle, and I got in some serious trouble. I dealt with the effects of PTSD. The drinking turned into alcoholism. And through the VA, they encouraged me to quit and see if my liver would regenerate itself. And thank God it did. After my divorce, it changed my life. I attempted to take my life. I was in the hospital for several months in Battle Creek, Michigan. And instead of giving up, I learned it lit a fire in me. And one was to fight for the disability benefits of veterans. I even went to jail over that issue. I got a 90-day jail sentence, and I did about 12 days and got out, and then started going to Washington and advocating. That led me to other things, and I started with POW MIAs. It seems like we've forgotten them. It just hurt. I think of Art, you know, he was a big guy, but real quiet. Think of him being like in a cage or something. What goes through your mind? Are they coming to get me? When are they going to get here? We're planning this future, and nobody ever comes. But then you go back into other wars. I had relatives that were POWs during the Korean War. How do we honor them? We have POW MIA Recognition Day. I want to do something to help remember them. So I just kind of came up with the idea of a memorial for Michigan POWs and missing in action in Island Park in Mount Pleasant. But have this memorial come from the people of Michigan, and in a way saying thank you for what you had to endure. At the 50-year commemoration of the Vietnam War, they had a ceremony in Lansing. A politician, I'll just leave it at that, was emceeing, and Arthur Wright's wife was there. I said, could you just recognize her, that she's in the audience? And he told me no. And other veterans heard that and got upset. It was embarrassing. 5 or 6 months after that ceremony, Yuva was put in a nursing home. And her daughter Mary was with her, and they called me. This is the last time I talked to the lady. And she thanked me for the work I'd done over the years for the POW MIA and keeping Arthur's name out there. And it haunts me to this day. She said, Calvin, thank you for the work, but nobody cares. And that was the last time I talked to her. She died about 2 days after that. And I'm thinking we let her down. We let her down. And that fire just got bigger under me. Our thinking of honoring every veteran that was a POW or MIA from the Civil War to the present. And it's going to take money. I know it's something that's not going to happen in a year. I won't be here to see it completed. But I just want to plant that seed and just hope it sprouts out and grows. And then donations. And you can send that to the Mount Pleasant POW Memorial Fund to the city of Mount Pleasant. This fall in September, I think it's the 20th, they are setting up a statewide food truck competition. And so much of the percentage will go into that fund. But that's just one of the ideas that have came up, golf scrambles, and we're looking for sponsors. This memorial is yours. This is your gift to those that serve and endured, being a prisoner of war or missing in action, and remember those that died in captivity. And we're having this distinction for the families of those. And this is the gift from the people of the state of Michigan to honor them and remember them. And let's hope it never happens again. And that's a big prayer to say. You know, we live in bad times, but we cannot forget their service. And it's a bad thing to say. In the future, there's probably going to be more POWs and missing in action. And you'll always have somewhere to come to remember them.